Hello, my name is Pierce Starre. I'm a queer neurodivergent live performance artist based in Liverpool. I'm white and identify as non-binary. I'm sitting on a chair. Behind me is a white background. My eyes are blue and I have a brown stubbly beard. I'm wearing a black woolly hat, black t-shirt and red shirt over the top. I have 2 earrings in my left ear and 3 in my right. I also have a nose piercing. My live performance artwork has explored themes such as heteronormativity, the restrictive nature of institutional frameworks, and my experience of being a child of deaf adults. I also run Drip Liverpool, a platform supporting radical and experimental performance art. As part of Drip Liverpool, I've been producing Spill Your Tea, a quarterly live performance art event supporting artists locally, nationally, and internationally. There is a misconception that all dyslexic people experience the same difficulties. This is not the case. No 2 dyslexics will have exactly the same experience. In this video, I would like to share my experience of dyslexia. Both of my parents are profoundly deaf British Sign Language users. I struggled immensely during my formative years of education. At this point, I had undiagnosed dyslexia and was expected to function in a neuronormative environment. I always felt like an underachiever. I was expected to complete work at home, but my parents did not understand written English. This, coupled with my undiagnosed dyslexia, often left me falling behind with my work and being ridiculed and punished by teachers. I left school without any GCSEs. I struggled throughout my education, apart from a spell on 2 college performing arts courses. But when I went on to drama school, however, I struggled to keep up. I became ill with anxiety and eventually left the course. My experiences discouraged me from engaging in education until I was in my late 20s. I decided to give it another chance. When I started my bachelor's, I struggled once again with the academic demands of the degree. I received feedback from tutors about contextual reports such as an interesting statement with supportive and relevant referencing, but it does read quite awkwardly and disparately. It was at around this time I was speaking with another student who had dyslexia. I realised that the difficulties that she had experienced with her studies resembled my own. I decided to explore whether I had dyslexia, and at 30 years old I was diagnosed. I actually cried in the assessment. It was a relief. I finally understood why I had been struggling all my life. When I informed my course leader of my diagnosis, he said, "I wondered if this might have been the case." He had wondered, but he hadn't mentioned this to me. Instead, I was left feeling like I was stupid and academically incapable. With the correct support, and even then it was a struggle, I was able to achieve a first-class degree, and for the first time I wondered if I was actually academically capable. However, coming out of university and into the art world, I felt once more academically incapable. As a fledgling new artist, I had no access support. How was I to write an application? How was I to obtain funding and commissions? Being in an environment where you are expected to be literate and able to assemble an application triggers and reinforces internalised feelings of inadequacy. I often feel like an imposter despite having a first-class degree. I have these deeply embedded feelings of inadequacy. Ableist narratives look down on people like me who have disabilities, and these feelings have left me feeling like I'm not good enough. As an artist, I don't have the same level of support day to day as I did when I was at university. I have had to work extra hard. I've had to develop strategies to get by. In a pre-COVID world, I found networking to be my fundamental tool to connect with art world professionals. I began asking for face-to-face or telephone meetings with commissioners so that I could talk to them. I would explain my disability and ask whether I could provide a face-to-face or telephone application. Some welcomed this. However, some responded by saying things such as, "We're not able to offer a telephone application as this could create an interview type situation, which is not the style of application we're offering to other applicants. However, we are more than happy to receive an audio recording or a video up to a maximum of X minutes." More and more commissioners are implementing the video or audio recording option. However, personally for me, the very notion of producing an audio or video recording creates anxiety. I also personally find pre-prescribed timeframes on an audio or video recording counterproductive. I understand the rationale of wanting to make the application process fair, but it doesn't work for me, and quite frankly it's not inclusive. You cannot fit round pegs in square holes. My dyslexic brain goes sideways. Due to the time limits imposed, my dyslexic brain is provided no space to work in the amazing way it does. I have to conform to neurotypical narratives, where there is an expectation to be concise. So that I can fit into the square hole, I then end up having to write a script. The time it takes me to write a script, I might as well just write the application. The written application process takes me weeks with little or no support. Once completed, I'm then on to the next application, repeating the whole process again. The experience is completely debilitating and depleting. I've resorted to asking for help from whoever I can. Everyone I have asked has done so out of the goodness of their heart because they want to support me. But this is unfair on them, and it's unfair on me. It leaves me feeling an enormous sense of guilt as they find themselves becoming consumed by my obstacles. And to add to this, they are not receiving any remuneration for their time. The very notion of talking to a camera or on a voice recording leads to me feeling exceptionally anxious. I'm in fact feeling anxious delivering this video, which also was initially to a time frame and took me several days to write. I applied for a performance opportunity a few years ago and found myself doing the recording over 100 times. My anxiety coupled with my dyslexia makes it difficult for me to put my thoughts into words. I begin speaking in halted phrases. I leave sentences incomplete. I stutter under stress. I mispronounce long words and transpose phrases, words and syllables when speaking. I also feel like I need to make an impression and as such need to come across in a certain way because let's face it, in a neurotypical world, if you don't, you won't be given a chance. I feel I have to be concise and demonstrate confidence and charisma. Doing an application in this way puts me at an unfair disadvantage. Someone who has submitted a written application would not be judged on these merits. Speaking on video or an audio recording is not the same as having a conversation with a person. Speaking with a person and getting a response would alleviate these anxieties and barriers and would provide adequate accessibility for my dyslexia. Through the live art platform I run, Drip Liverpool, we have put a lot of time into thinking about accessibility and inclusivity. Drip Liverpool provides telephone, face-to-face and audio and video recording without a time constraint. We also provide written applications and an option for the artist to tell us what works best for them. We are ready to be flexible and we are ready to unlearn neurotypical and ability normative ideals. We understand and champion that people are diverse and with that we respond with a diverse range of options. We are ultimately judging the required criteria as set out in the application and as far as we're concerned, no one is treated more favourably than anyone else. In a world where we are increasingly relying on the digital, and in particular right now, in amidst a global pandemic, networking with commissioners has become much harder. There are no events to attend in physical spaces. The online events do not often provide the opportunity to chat and network with people. And even if they do, it is difficult to have those more in-depth conversations you would in the physical space. It is now where the telephone calls and face-to-face Zoom conversations have become critical to my practice. However, it would seem the only networking option on offer is through written means, such as emails. I don't feel I have the same playing field as someone who is not neurodiverse. To summarise, I feel that in order to change the ongoing imbalances with regards to accessibility in the arts, organisations need to make space for more neurodiverse, deaf and disabled people to be at the centre of decision-making processes rather than decisions being made about what works for them by people who do not themselves have disabilities. I also feel that the fundamental areas that need to be addressed are neurotypical attitudes. My neurodivergent reality is not shared by neurotypical people because to you, your norm is literacy. Take time to make society work for everyone, including neurodiverse folk. I'm not stupid, I'm not thick, I'm dyslexic. Take time to consider the inaccessibility I'm facing. Don't just make decisions about what you think will work for us. Provide space for us to tell you what works for us. I don't want to keep trying to function like a neurotypical individual. I'm tired and I need your support to make opportunities within the arts more accessible. Be open, be willing to be patient. empower us to use our own amazingly neurodivergent brains.